What is going on, guys? Chip here. Welcome to another Pokemon TCG discussion video where I'm joined by 4 special guests joining us from around the globe. We've got a player ranked currently in the top 4 in each of their respective rating zones here, headed into North American International Championships. All 4 of these players have received paid trips to go to Columbus to compete at the NAIC, so they definitely know what they're talking about, and we're going to be talking about some Pokemon today. So starting out in the top left corner, we have Michael Pramawat. How's it going, Michael?
Doing good. Yeah, glad to be here.
Yep. So I'm going to have these guys each introduce themselves, so
yeah.
If you can just tell us your name, where you're from,
sure.
And a favorite deck that you have played this season.
Yeah, so Michael Pramawat. I play in the Indianapolis, Indiana area, and a favorite deck I've played is Night March, because that deck is busted.
Yeah, definitely. People who play it a lot love it. People who don't play it a lot seem to hate it. But all right, and then in the top right side, we have coming to us from Australia, Brent Tonneson. How's it going, Brent?
It's going good.
Yeah.
So I'm from Sydney, and my favorite deck was Sauropod.
Nice. Yeah, and you saw some success with that this year, right? You got top 8 in Brazil, correct, with Sauropod, and top 16, I think, in London, right?
Well, I got top 8 to London with Gardevoir,
okay.
Top 8 to Sydney, and then top 8 in the other one.
Nice. So yeah, top 8 for these 3 so far. Looking, I'm sure day 2, these last 3. Sure you're looking to day 2, the 4th one this year as well. It'll be pretty interesting to see what happens. And then down here in the bottom right, we've got William Azevedo, if I'm saying that correctly. How's it going, William?
Azevedo. Azevedo, yeah. I'm good, thanks. I'm William Azevedo. I'm from Brazil, especially south of Brazil. My favorite deck was probably Garbo. I won a regional with it, and I think he got a slot in my heart.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sweet. And then over, last but not least, on the bottom left, coming off of a top 4 finish this weekend in Sheffield, Mark Lutz. How's it going, Mark?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm Mark Lutz. I'm from Germany, which is in Europe. And my favorite deck's probably, well, anything with Garb, really. But this season probably Goalie Garb, since I won a regional and got day 2 at the London Internats.
Sweet.
Yep.
Well, once again, guys, I do appreciate you taking time out of your days or evenings. We're making this work across 4 different time zones, 4 different countries, so I think that's pretty sweet. So thank you guys for working with it and making it happen. And yeah, so we're just going to run through kind of what NAIC is going to look like. But before we do that, I do just really briefly want to talk about Mexico City Regionals, which is coming up this coming weekend. I'm just going to let Pram talk about that really quickly, since I think, as we mentioned earlier, he is the only one who's going to be attending. So Pram, what are you expecting out of the weekend in Mexico City, and do you expect the results in Mexico City to really have an impact on what happens at North America Internationals?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll have a little bit of an impact. I think the big 3 regionals people are going to be looking at are Mexico City, and the 2 past regionals that were in standard. So, yeah, I think the meta is shifting. I don't know. It's like balancing out, because people are figuring out, hey, I can deal with 3 Baby Bustle this way, things like that. So, I think Mexico City, you'll see a little bit more solved format, and then NAIC, you'll see it like pretty solved.
Well, with that being said, we'll just kind of hop right into our discussion about the North American International Championships, starting off with, I think, the deck that kind of exploded into the format in this new format with the Forbidden Light cards, and that is Buzzwole Lycanroc. I think basically since Australia, I mean, even earlier back to like Memphis, the deck kind of exploded onto the scene as like a really, really powerful archetype, and then, you know, had so many top 8 spots and so many tournaments, has won multiple regional championships, and won the first regionals in this format over in Madison. So what are you guys' thoughts on Buzzwole for the North American Internationals? We can start with Mark on this one.
Oh, God. First of all, I never played this deck, so I'm not the best person to talk about this, but like the deck is definitely it has a strong power level, just because you're strong and the Antsy and band, you deal a lot of damage with one energy, but you also play a lot of energies, and your game plan is very straightforward. So you can easily be countered as well. You do have Lycanroc, so you have answers against some counters, but that sometimes you can just draw that because you play too many energies or acceleration cards, or sometimes you can just get countered because your strategy is too straightforward.
Sure.
So I personally don't like Buzzrock, but yeah.
Okay. William, what are your thoughts on the deck? I know you got top 4 with it in Australia earlier this year, so do you have any thoughts about it heading into NAIC?
Oh, I kind of think exactly like Mark, because I played a special event 2 weeks before we talking today, and I tested the new version of Buzzrock with Beast Ring and stuff, and it feels like I'm always have just energies in my hand. It's all I have always. Energies, max elixirs, and I have to discard them with Sycamore because you have to make the deck happen. And when I'm going to Beast Ring, I just don't have energies on my deck anymore. So I don't know. It's just I don't feel like I was going to play this deck, but it will for sure be a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Brent, do you have any thoughts on Buzzrock?
Well, I know it's fairly straightforward. It's actually like a really strong deck. So it would be a deck I consider playing purely because I try and just play whatever is pretty much like the strongest or whatever deck I think is just going to get me top 32. Because in our region, you just have to get points at every event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it definitely seems like a, like you said, pretty straightforward deck to make that happen with. Pram, do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's the most aggressive strategy in the game right now. So you just like when it's super aggressive and has super high damage outputs, it's literally the deck to beat. So yeah, just try and beat it. If you can't, just get ran over or join it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that Buzzrock gained from the new format is the baby Buzzwole with Sledgehammer and Swing Around. Both of those attacks just being really powerful can. As a one prizer with 130 HP can really just ramp up there in numbers. And so, after Madison, whenever Igor won with the 3 baby Buzzwole in his Buzzrock, I think a lot of people were expecting a lot more psychic counters and things like that to come out. And it was just kind of accepted, I think, that Zoroark decks had a really hard time with this, heavy baby Buzzwole deck. But then this past weekend, Seb Simons ends up winning Sheffield with a Zoroark Lycanroc deck with, the 4 strong energies. We've got Delinquent in there. But other than that, it just seems like a really consistent list with the 4 Bridgets. So where is, in your opinion, guys, is Zoroark Lycanroc in the meta, and how can it deal with Buzzwole decks? We can start with Pram on this one, since Pram won a regional championships with the deck this year.
Yeah, so I think Zoroark Lycanroc is just the best Zoroark deck, like hands down. Pod is like good, but like if you put Pod against Lycanroc, I think Lycanroc just wins most of the time. So it's not like the matchup's awful. I mean, like horrible. You could Zoroark can still actually beat Buzzwole sometimes, but it's just not a high enough percentage to where like if the field is all Buzzwole or like mostly Buzzwole and you run a Zoroark, you're just gonna eventually you'll just get grinded out.
Mm-hmm. So even though like Seb played the Mew EX and Mewtwo evolutions, like even with both of those cards, the matchup just still seems like pretty uphill. You think?
Yeah, because eventually you like lose Zoroarks, they'll like one shot your Mewtwo. Like you have to like hit like the consistent like turn 1 Bridget, turn 2 bunch of Zoroarks with Mewtwo EX into like another follow-up into another follow-up, and just like you have to hit that every time against Buzz, where Buzz is just like, I need to hit a Guzma and an energy. Alright, I won. And that's how that matchup like plays out.
Sure. Mark, do you have any thoughts on the deck?
Yeah, I think the strategy for Zoroark decks is, well, first of all, you need definitely turn 1 Bridget, and then a couple Zoroarks turn 2. But they can definitely win if they KO the core which is auxiliary, and you know, they can, if they play Lycanroc, they have to use their own Lycanroc to one-shot the other Lycanroc, and then they can also deal with the baby buzz because of strong, it does 130. So Zoroark can definitely deal with Buzzrock, but some things need to go right, that's for sure.
Sure. Brent.
Yeah, so I think Zoroark has a lot of attackers that really help. Like, you have Lycanroc that can kill Octo, Zoroark draws you cards, Mewtwo is good. So, it's not unwinnable, but it's definitely not favored.
Yeah. And I think... Oh, William's back.
Hi, sorry guys.
Oh, all good. Yeah, it's things like that are to be expected when we're working across so many so many different countries and stuff. So it's all good. But yeah, we're still talking about Zoroark.
Type just stopped.
What's up?
Type just stopped.
Okay. So yeah, Zoroark, Lycanroc. Do you have any thoughts on it, William?
I agree with Prem. I think Zoroark Lycanroc is the best variant because you can just, you can, if you have something like 3 Zoroarks in play, you can use 2 trades. It's like you're using a Professor Sycamore, and you can use Lycanroc's ability. It's like you're playing Guzma, and you can end your opponent to low cards, and it's like you're using 3 supporters in 1 turn.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Like, the concept in general just seems really powerful for sure. All right, and then over, second place this weekend in Sheffield, we saw Zoroark Golisopod, take second place, and I think Brent, that's a deck you said you had some experience with. So, what are your opinions on it in this specific format?
Well, this is the thing. If you look at Sheffield compared to Madison, Boswell is dropping in numbers. I feel like this deck just does terrible against Boswell at the moment. So I feel like this deck is really good against like the rest of the field, pretty much, excluding Boswell and maybe Malamar. I haven't really tested that matchup, but yeah. Otherwise, the more Garb you see that it play, the stronger this deck gets. Otherwise, you would always just go to Lycanroc.
Yeah. William, do you have thoughts on Zoropod?
Yeah, this special event I played 2 weeks ago, I won it with Zoropod. And I was expecting a field with a lot of Malamar, and it's just such an easy matchup for Zoropod. He can't use downwings. When you armor press or even just attack with Zoroark, he needs 4 energies with the Necrozma. And okay, he can maybe have Malamar, but Marshadow, sorry. But I don't know. It's a really easy matchup. But is that you can beat Buzzrock with him.
Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I know the player and the list because Magnus is a friend of Todd's. So that was Todd's list. So Todd had like this strategy to beat Buzz, and personally, I'm not sure if it actually works, because when I asked Magnus how many Buzz did you play, he was like, I played 2 out of 14 rounds, and probably those 2 players were not even good. I was not very impressed. I'm actually not sure if it's any good, but I don't know.
Sure. And Pramawat.
Yeah, I mean, just not a huge fan of the deck. Its damage output is pretty linear. Like, its big thing is like surviving hits, but then Buzzwell just comes in with like 230. So yeah, it just can't. It's good versus everything else. Like, but it just can't beat Buzzwell. Not really. I mean, like, yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to like what Brent said and with what Mark said as well, that Magnus only played against 2 Buzzrocks throughout the weekend, and like Brent said, it seems like a deck that's really good against the field, but really bad against Buzzwell specifically, and maybe that was just the case this past weekend. But the next deck I actually want to talk about is a deck that Mark got top 4 with this weekend, and that's Buzzwole Garbodor, so kind of a little bit different take on Buzzwole from the straightforward Buzzrock that seems to be more popular. So if you could just real quick, Mark, tell us the reasoning behind choosing Buzz Garb over Buzzrock, and then how you think it's positioned heading into North America Internationals.
Well, this is basically Goligab, but in brown. And the thing is, as long as you don't face against high rolling Zoroarks, you're most likely fine, because the decks in the format are like so defined. Like Buzzrock doesn't play Blow, so after they KO one Buzz GX, and you have a Buzz GX with Fighting Fury Belt and Ability Lock in play, they are really screwed, because they have like no real strategy to KO it. And if they like go for the Buzz GX, then you just trash launch them. So they don't really have anything against that. And against Malamar, especially if they play 2-blower, you can just go Lele DCE, and you just Ace Roller loop them, and they can't do anything. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, seems pretty straightforward. Does anyone else have any thoughts on Buzzgarb? I guess we can kick it over to Pramawat. Do you have thoughts on Buzzgarb?
Yeah, I think the deck's really good. You know, for the reasons Mark said. So, like the matchup against Buzz is pretty solid. Matchup versus anything with abilities, you have Garb. People are cutting Blower, so. Yeah. I mean, maybe like if you hit it's like weird. If you hit a meta where like people start taking the Garbodor into account, your deck actually turns pretty gimpy. But other than that, the deck's really good.
Brent, any thoughts?
I feel like this Buzzle energy is good. I'd slap Goblin and it's just really good.
Yeah, and William.
Yeah, the same about Brent. It seems like Buzzwole doesn't break sometimes, because if you have Buzzwole or the Station, whatever, and an energy, you're playing. You're causing a lot of damage with one Pokemon and one energy. And adding Garbodor, maybe. I have never tested the deck, but it seems okay.
Sure. Okay, and then I think the other big major deck that we definitely need to talk about is the Malamar decks. Now, it seems like there's really two main popular versions of the deck. We've got Ultra Necrozma Malamar, and then the more straightforward Psychic version with just regular Necrozma and Dawn Wings, and then one of the one prize, like some of the one prize attacking Pokemon as well. So before we talk about, we'll talk about both of them individually, but before we do that, I just kind of want to get everyone's opinion on which of the two versions they prefer. So the two versions being Ultra Necrozma Malamar, or just the straightforward Dawn Wings Malamar, or the regular Necrozma GX. So we'll start with Pram, then Brent, then William, then Mark, going around the circle.
Yeah, I prefer just straight Psychic, just because you can run the one prizer attackers better. Like the one prizer attackers all take triple Psychic, so if you flip over a metal with an elixir, you just want to like, oh, it's just so bad. So and that's like your way to like try and keep up with Buzzwole. The counter their like one prize attackers. So yeah, just because of like the Buzzwole matchup, I like the Psychic one better. But if like Zoroark got big, I would prefer Ultra Necrozma.
Brent, which one do you prefer?
Yeah, I was gonna mention the same, that it pretty much just depends on how much Buzz are you expecting. If you're expecting more Buzz, you want to play the tech based. If not, you want to play the Ultra, just to try and beat Zoroark.
Yeah. William?
I think Ultra Necrozma, it's a little bit harder to counter. It doesn't have a weakness that is popular at the moment, and it's if someone plays Zoroark, it will obviously have Mew or Mewtwo on his deck, and it's kind of easy to beat Malamar. But with Ultra Necrozma, I don't know, it's not that easy to hit, to one hit at least.
And Mark, which one do you prefer?
Yeah, I think in general I like Ultra Necrozma better, because you can run B-String, and that's a pretty good card. And you also don't really just lose against the Rock, but since the meta is heavily favored in the Buzz Rock meta, I would probably just prefer a Psychic variant right now.
So yeah, it just seems like kind of you really, maybe Ultra Necrozma would have more well-rounded matchups as a whole. Dawn Wings has a harder time with just Zoroark decks in general. But so yeah, well, I guess we'll just briefly talk about each one. Brent, do you have thoughts on Ultra Necrozma Malamar specifically for NAIC?
Oh, I've never played the deck, but I feel like it does have decent enough matchups to go, probably maybe get to day 2, but I don't think he'll go as far. I feel like there will be a lot of Buzz, and at some point you'll get run over by Buzz, but I feel like it's not that bad.
William?
I kind of agree with Brent. It's sometimes it's hard to find the metal energy, even with Beast Ring. But if the deck works, you can actually day 2. But I don't know. It seems like you will not win all the time, all the buzz rolls. So especially with the Garbodor and Fighting Fury Belt.
Pramawat?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I kind of just agree with whatever anyone else said. So yeah,
Mark,
nothing really to add.
Yeah, Mark, anything to add?
Yeah, I think like I wouldn't personally play it because you can always get like run over by Buzz, and you can also randomly lose to Parallel Guzma. That I would not like to lose to.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so now we can just real briefly talk about Necrozma Malamar. You know, similar decks, but obviously like different strategies, different matchups maybe. But William, what are your thoughts on just the more straightforward Necrozma Malamar?
I think I don't know. Depends on your meta. The possibility of using a lot of basic Pokemon giving just one prize card, it's okay. It's good. We have the promo Downwings. It's okay. The Hoopa is okay. But it just depends on your meta. If you're going to face a lot of Zoroarks, it's terrible. If you're going to face a lot of Buzzwoles like a rock, it's excellent.
Pram, any thoughts to add? I know that's the one you said you preferred.
Yeah, I like being able to reliably attack with Giratina. That's really nice.
Yeah.
That attack is actually like deceivingly good.
Yeah.
Just so you know. But yeah, the one prize attackers is just I think right now the preferred way to play it in the meta. If the meta changes, you know, you can just easily swap out to Ultra. But yeah, right now I think it's the way to go.
Brent?
Yeah, so I think it's really cool, just the concept of using Malma and just keep piling the one prize attackers. I mean, it's probably the best with the Buzzwole percentages. It's just that as Zoroark rises in play, it's worse, but if Zoroark decreases, it's better. It just depends.
Yeah, and Mark?
Yeah, I think everything has been said already about this.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a better idea about which version might look better maybe after Mexico City this coming weekend to kind of see what that meta ends up looking like. But yeah, and I think those are the main decks. I guess there are still more that we will talk about. One of them being, I think, the deck everyone loves to hate, and that would be Greninja. So, you know, lots of ability-based decks in the format. You know, it's always tempting to throw Greninja into the sleeves to get those Shadow Stitchings off. But what are everyone's opinions of Greninja in the format currently? We can start with Brent on this one.
I mean, consider I haven't played Ninja in 2 years. I don't really like the deck. Like, I just don't like playing a Stage 3 deck. It's like, if I whiff like Frog or anything, I'm just gonna cry. I just brick. It's just sad.
Mm-hmm. Mark, thoughts on Greninja?
Yeah, first of all, I never played Greninja at the tournament because I don't like the concepts. And also, I had a game in Sheffield where my opponent had turn 2 Frogadier, and then he needs an energy, so he Cynthias. He draws 2 more Frogadiers and gets the energy, and he water duplicates for 0 Frogadiers, and I Jet Punch for game. So that was like, a classic Greninja hand. Nice.
Yeah, that is definitely something that can happen with the deck. William, thoughts on Greninja?
I love Greninja.
I'm glad we had at least
You
one
either
in the
love it or
group,
hate
so.
But I would never play Greninja in a serious tournament.
Okay.
It's just the feeling of lose to yourself is just losing to your own deck is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly what Mark said, it already happens to me. I need an energy and Sycamore, and I draw 3 Frogadiers from my deck, and just what can I do?
Right. And Pram, any thoughts on Greninja? I know there's something you were apparently testing earlier this week. Is Pablo shared a picture on Twitter that was pretty funny to look at. But
I am also a fan of Greninja.
Yes.
But I've never played it outside of a cup. and then, like, I'll do so well, and then, I'll make top cut, and then I'll get, like, 2 Greninja hands in a row, and I'll be like, yep, that's why I don't play this at regionals. I mean, honestly, the deck is, like, objectively, the deck is in a solid spot, except, the 30% loss rate to yourself. But, and then you have your 70% for the rest of the games, and then maybe you win, maybe you don't. You definitely don't beat Giratina promo, so like if the deck actually gets like super hyped up, you can see a lot of promos, and then you just lose anyways. So, yikes. Yeah, not a fan for big tournaments, but if you can like squeeze a local and like like no one's running Tina promo and you feel like high rolling that day, seems fine.
So next we'll just talk about a couple more Zoroark variants. We saw top 16 this weekend. Frank Diaz heading over to Sheffield and getting top 16 with Zoro Garb, a deck that he also got second at Toronto earlier this year with. So what are your guys' opinions on Zoro Garb in this format? And then the other question I'll ask along with it is bursting balloon or no bursting balloon? So we can start with Mark on this one.
Well, the thing about Zoro Garb is that it doesn't really beat Buzz Rock. Especially not the Baby Buzz variant, because they don't play too many items in the early game, so you can't really use Garb. You have to use, like, Latios or something. Mm-hmm. And if they ever set up Lycanroc, you can't really deal with that. So, yeah. I am not a huge fan of that. You're also unfavored against most other Zoroark variants. So, yeah, I don't like the deck in the format.
Pram, any thoughts?
Yeah, Frank did well in Toronto, then lost to Zoroark, or not Zoroark, he lost to Buzzrock, and then, if we can't beat that, then why play it? Especially if it's a Zoroark deck. And the Baby Buzzwole did make the matchup way more favored for Buzzrock to begin with. So, yikes. Yeah, just not as powerful as Lycanroc Zoroark.
William.
Not a fan of the deck. When you play the Bursting Balloon variation, I feel like your puzzle of times is just an extension of Bursting Balloons. You're going to puzzle of times most of the time for Bursting Balloons. And you lost the biggest piece of the deck, in my opinion, of Zoroark decks. And with the regular variation with Floatstone, I don't know if this is the regular variation, but with the Floatstone variation, it feels like you shut your own Zoroarks, and Zoroark's the reason of the deck. I don't know. It's just like it's not a deck that I'm good to pilot it. I don't like it.
And Brent, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I feel like its matchup spread is just not that good. It doesn't play enough pressure to make Garb actually want to play items. They just sit there doing a ton of damage, and they don't really do anything else, and you're just losing, even though they've done like barely anything. And then against Zoroark decks, I'm pretty sure it just loses to the other Zoroark decks as well. So it feels like it's just getting the bad side of both ends. So it just feels like it's not that good.
Alright, and then I believe the last Zoroark deck that we're going to talk about is going to be Zoroark Lucario. So it's not a deck that it didn't get any top 32 placements in Madison, But then we look over to Sheffield and we see 2 of them in top 32. And, you know, if you kind of look at the numbers, we see the new support that we get with, like, DNC Prism Star. You know, being able to hit for 190 with a Lucario seems pretty good to, you know, just KO a Buzzwole. And then in return, if they don't one-hit KO you, you're threatening that Cantankerous beatdown GX at all times. So, you know, to me, it sort of seems like it could be in a decent spot. We see 2 in top 32. But realistically, do you guys think that it's a deck that can stand up to the other, you know, I guess the big 3, Ultra Necrozma, Zoroark, Lycanroc, and Buzzwole Lycanroc? We can start with William on this one.
I like the deck. I like the variation. You can one-shot everything. Almost everything. I don't know if everything, but whatever. The thing about Lucario is, seems to me that if you play Lucario with Zoroark, is the best way to make a consistent deck, not that consistent, because you every single turn you need I don't know, at least 2 or 3 cards. Lucario, you need the strong, you need the Riolo for your next turn. I think I prefer Lycanroc variation.
Premont, I know you played Lucario to some capacity, at least this season. Maybe not Zoroark Lucario, but what are your thoughts on Lucario in Zoroark?
The deck is just kind of you can try to can make the deck consistent with Zoroark, but then you end up running Zoroark, which is so Buzzwole will just ignore your Lucarios. They'll just be like, okay, you Aura Striked me, I'll knock out Zoroark. Oh, you hit me for 70. All right, this time I'll Knuckle Impact, knockout, and then it's just over. And then again, Zoroark Lycanroc. The Lycanroc is just a big deal because Dangerous Rogue is just really good. Them targeting down your Zoroarks again, really good. Yeah, just not. I don't think it's in a great place right now. And I watched, I've seen that matchup play out against Buzzwole, and it's just really bad. Yeah, so maybe you could pull wins against Malamar just because you're a Zoroark deck, but other than that, I think it's unfavored against Lycanroc of both variations.
Sure. Mark, any thoughts?
Well, if you want to pick a Zoroark deck that doesn't actually win against any deck of the top 3, then it's probably Zoroark Lucario, because Lucario has Psychic Weakness, so you can actually lose against Malamar. You lose against Zoroark all the time, because the one Lycanroc just picks up your Zoroark, and you can't deal with it. And against Buzz, your only strategy is to Lucario Ace Roller, and anything else is just like any other Zoroark deck. So, yeah, that's not a good deck, I don't think.
And Brent, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so it's Buzzwole matchup's pretty similar to Zoropod. It's usually you win that by using N and getting rid of Octo. Except without Lycanroc, that's just not happening. So you just always lose. They always hit everything. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, with the fighting type, you even have problems against Malamar. And then against Zoro Lycan, they just shove a Lycan up and you're screwed. So it just seems like it doesn't beat any of those.
All right. Well, that seems pretty straightforward to me. We've just a couple more decks here that we are going to talk about briefly. We saw top 16 placement from this in Sheffield this weekend, and that is Sylveon. Is that a deck that you guys really expect to see any play at any IC? Is it a deck you would ever yourself consider playing? I see a lot of shaking heads, but we can start with William on this one. Thoughts on Sylveon?
Can Sylveon beat Malamar? I don't think so.
No, it can't.
No, it can't. So I don't think Sylveon can even beat Buzzwole with this much energies that the deck is playing. I don't see why play Sylveon.
Mark, any thoughts?
I mean, anyone can win with anything in Pokemon, but I would personally not bring Sylveon. It loses to Malamar because you can run them out of energies, and the Ultra, the Dawn Wings just rushes in, so you can't even stall. So, what are you doing? It's I don't know.
Brent, do you have any thoughts on Sylveon?
Yeah, it's just auto losses, man. It's you can beat Zoro Lycan, but that's not that much. Everything else is just going to be an uphill struggle.
and Pramelot.
Yeah, not great. It can't even hope that Greninja gets a Greninja hand. Like, like Greninja is just like, this is the freest win. And like, what are they going to do? Run Giratina promo and then they just start with it? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, so it sounds like a big thumbs down from everyone for Sylveon, unfortunately, for the Sylveon lovers out there. But and I think this should probably be the last deck we're going to talk about, and that is going to be Lapras, a deck that's kind of popped up here and there, top 32 at a couple of the regionals. Do you guys see, to me it seems pretty similar to Buzzwole, like you're a big basic Pokemon swinging for 190 with a Choice Band, but Buzzwole has way more damage modifiers and can hit higher numbers and has Lycanroc. Do you guys see the appeal to Lapras, and what are your opinions on it? So we can start with Pramelot.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty decent. It has a pretty good Zoroark matchup. Like you can just kind of turbo off, and you hit them with Baby Volcanion, and then you get in there with a bunch of 190s. But your Garbodor matchup's not great. Your Buzzwole matchup's not good, but I think your Malamar matchup's solid, so you got that going for you. I mean, like you're like decent versus like anything not Buzzwole. So, but at that point, why not just play a Zoroark deck?
Mark, thoughts on Lapras?
Well, the deck is very consistent, so I'll give it that. But you can only beat Zoroark if you get the Baby Bulk going, otherwise you lose. I think you pretty much always lose against Buzzrock, since I don't think you have time to actually set up the Baby Bulk to hit the Lycanroc. And Baby Buzz is really hard to deal with. Sure. Yeah, Malamar should be close, but should probably win. So yeah, like you only beat one of the 3 decks, most likely consistently. So yeah.
Brent, any thoughts on Lapras?
I mean, its attack pretty much just like Buzzwole, but doesn't have Jet Punch, so that instantly makes a problem. Like you have Aqua Patch and stuff, so you can reload more consistently. But the thing is, you're not even fighting type, so Zoroark can still win more consistently against you than Buzzwole can, and then it can against Buzzwole. So you'd rather play Buzzwole in that retrospect. And then you even have Malamar. Like, I'm sure that one's probably not that bad. I haven't really played Lapras, but I feel like at that point you should probably just be playing Buzzwole or something. Like it just reloads and it has more options.
All right, and William, any thoughts on Lapras that haven't been said? Anything to add?
Yeah, it's what Brent says. Yeah, it's a Buzzwole without Jet Punch and Lycanroc. I think the only advantage it has again over Buzzwole is the weakness.
Yeah, not being weak to Psychic.
I know.
Guess, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Volcanion is okay. Volcanion is a good card. Aqua Patch is okay, but I don't know. Yeah, with Buzzwole, with just one energy, you can cause a lot of damage. I don't see why play Lapras.
All right, and sorry, I did say that was the last deck, but there is one more that we will talk about real fast. Deck that got actually top 8 this past weekend, and that's Espeon Garbodor. Something has really kind of fallen out of favor this format, and but something that's been pretty strong, basically ever since the deck has been around through the past 2 seasons. So, why? I'll ask, like, why do you guys think it's kind of fallen out of favor this format? And do you think it could find itself in a good position before North American Internationals? We can start with Brent.
So I feel like it probably, like, I feel like it gets like scammed out of the game against Buzzwole a decent amount of the time, even though it should win a lot. And then it does beat Malamar. It's just that you don't want to play against Zoroark as much. But I feel like it doesn't do too badly against the big 3, so it's not too bad of a deck.
Mark, any thoughts?
Yeah, personally, I've never been a fan of Espeon Garb because sometimes the deck is really passive in the early game if your opponent doesn't just spam energies, then you just deal 60 damage, and that's it. I think the main issue is Zoroark. You always need parallel in play and probably like some energy removal, and they can just run through you. So yeah, I don't like the deck.
Before I let Pram and William talk about it, I will say, guys, for those who are watching in Twitch, I'll take a couple questions after this. This is the last deck that we're going to be talking about, so go ahead and start typing those questions out that you guys may have for the four of these guys. But Pram, what are your thoughts on Espeon Garbodor?
I will never play this deck again. I would rather play Greninja. I was convinced to play this deck in Brazil, and wow, what a letdown. I mean, I still made top 32. That's more because, like, my opponent's just dead Drew. So, it's just not good. I cannot recommend more to not play this deck.
So, another big thumbs down from Pramawat. William, what are your thoughts on Espeon Guard?
I start this discussion saying that this is my favorite deck. But right now, no, you can't play with it. You can't beat Zoroark. It's just, okay, you can parallel, you can put Pokemon 2 on Garbodor, you can end Zoroark to 1 or 2 cards, but I don't know, it's just, you can do damage. And against Malamar, I don't know if it's a that easy win. Downwing's Necrozma can be a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, a GX attack followed by the regular attack. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it.
All right, so yeah, another round the board thumbs down. It sounds like for Espeon Garb, but one question we got coming up here: top 3 picks right now for NAIC. So think about that. 3 decks that you would see yourself playing if the tournament were tomorrow. We can just start in the same order we've been going in. We'll start with Pramawat.
All right. Number 1 is Buzzwole Lycanroc. Number 2 is Buzzwole Garbodor. And number 3 is Zoroark Lycanroc. Notice the key thing about all these Pokemon. They at least have fighting Pokemon in them.
Seems like an important thing to have right now, I guess. All right.
Yeah.
Brent, top 3 decks heading in.
I was actually gonna say the exact same order as Brownwood. I just feel like, yeah, if Buzzwole's is good, Lycanroc's is good. If you have one of those two, you're winning.
All right, and William, thoughts?
Yeah, it's hard to get away from this. It's just Buzzwole Lycanroc, Zoroark Lycanroc, and probably Malamar with the basic Pokemon. Not a basic, the one prize Pokemon.
All right, so we got a Malamar in the mix. That's good. Okay, Mark, what are your top 3?
Well, I did just play Buzzgarb, so that's probably on my number 1 priority, and then Zoroark, and then Zoropod.
All right, so
yeah.
All right, sounds good. One last thing, Professor Pancham in the chat has mentioned Tapu Bulu a couple of times. Not something I was planning on really talking about, so we can just get everyone real fast a thumbs up or a thumbs down for Bulu. So what are your thoughts? Thumbs up, thumbs down? That's kind of what I thought we were going to see, and kind of why I didn't bring it up. But yeah, I think that is going to cover it. Once again, I do really appreciate all 4 of these guys taking time out of their days, evenings, nights, whatever it may be for you guys to be here. So thank you so much for taking time to do that. I'm going to give these guys a second here at the end of the discussion. If you have any sort of shout outs or any plugs, anything like that to social medias, streams, anything like that, feel free. The floor is yours, and we can start with Pramawat.
Yeah, thanks to ARG and TC Evolutions. Those guys are really cool. Follow me on Twitter. I tweet about my tournaments, and sometimes I tweet about other stuff. That's pretty much it. Yep.
Brent?
Not really too much to say. I mean, you could try and add me as a friend half the time. I don't know about accepting, but I don't really use any other social media. I don't use any other social media for Pokemon, at least. So I guess that's about it.
All right. William?
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity for talk with these three legends, three Pokemon legends, and hope to see you all in Columbus. Is that Columbus?
That's right.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mark, yeah.
You can follow me on Twitch, MattSlats, or you can follow me on Twitter, MattSlats too.
Awesome. All right, sweet. Well, thanks once again, guys. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, it was streamed live on my Twitch channel, so you can follow me on Twitch as well, which is linked in the description of all my videos. Also, be sure to leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't. Thanks once again. And that is going to do it for the 5 of us, and we're going to get out of here. Until next time, guys, take care.